guys, what's going on? It is a beautiful Sunday. I am on the boat with my dad.
Hello.
And Victor over there. It is nice and clear and flat out. So we're gonna jump in and do some lobstering and hopefully get some dinner for you guys, so stay tuned. Ready, Vic?
I'm ready. I'm excited. We haven't dove in a while. I see one. It might be a short. We're gonna need the tickle stick and a net, but it's real cloudy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I thought it was gonna be really clear.
Victor, I know where it is. You want me to tickle it out to you?
My dad's actually been diving these same reefs for over 30 years. So basically he jumps in, looks around, tells us if he sees any, and since it's only the three of us, Victor's in the water, and if we find a bunch, then I'll anchor the boat, but if I don't, then I'll just drive around following them, picking up the lobsters as they catch them. You boys need me to get in there and show you how to do it?
Probably. He got him.
Good job, Vic.
Thank you.
And Dad. All right, so here's the first lobster of the day, which we do measure them in the water, but I always recheck them once they make it into the boat just to make sure, and I'll also show you guys how to actually measure it. So they have to be greater than 3 inches to keep, so you put your measuring device between the eyes and you go back towards the tail. And because this doesn't go past the head, the carapace, then it's legal. If it had landed back here, past the carapace, the back of the gauge, then it would be short. But this is a legal size lobster. Dad, you want me to tow you?
Yeah, tow us to those
Vic,
two
he
spots.
wants me to tow him.
Okay.
The next spot isn't very far, but there's a super strong south current right now, and the next spot is north, so I'm towing them to the next spot. And then also if they see something along the way, they'll just let go of the rope and I'll stop. We are at our fourth spot now, and they found 4 lobsters, so now I just set the anchor and I'm gonna jump in and we're gonna catch them. For this first lobster, my dad was using a tickle stick to tickle the lobster out from under the rock, which I was then able to use my net it with one hand, and grab it with the other. Throughout the video, you'll be able to hear a noise coming from the lobster that they make naturally to actually fend off predators. I measured the lobster underwater, determined that it was legal, and then just tossed him into the boat. Now, I'll be honest, a lot of times they're not as easy to catch as that first one was. As you can see, this lobster kept darting all over the bottom till I was finally able to get my net on him properly. This spot is in 20 feet of water, so using teamwork makes catching dinner much easier when you're constantly diving up and down. We usually have someone to tickle the lobster out and someone ready to net it when it comes out of the rock. When freediving, every second underwater counts. You have to be in the right place at the right time, and always keep your eyes open because these guys blend in with the ocean floor so well.
Way small.
Way small. Oh yeah.
Lobsters can actually propel themselves backwards underwater by curling and uncurling their tail, which this one did, and I'm out of breath just watching me swim after this one.
He better be legal. He's just barely illegal. Because it goes over the head like that. He's exactly 3 inches, but they
I actually decided to move to shallower water to see if I could find some clearer water. So this is only 10 feet deep, and I was in the water by myself, so I used my left hand to use the tickle stick to get this lobster out of the rock, and then my right hand to net it. This fish is a hogfish. It's one of few species that can actually change colors within seconds. As you saw, it was a reddish brown when I first dove down on it, and then it turned to this whitish gray color. They can change colors based on their mood and also to camouflage into different surroundings. Hogfish have to be 16 inches to the fork to be able to keep. This guy was honestly probably big enough to keep, but sometimes it's worth it to just admire them and watch them swim by. These fish are sergeant majors. They have 5 black distinct stripes, and that's how they actually got their name from the military stripes that they resemble. Here's a lobster hanging out by some staghorn coral that I tickled out and netted by myself. I measured it and it was actually too small, so I let him go right back in the same rock where I found him. Here's another smaller hogfish, and in the last couple years they actually made the regulations on hogfish a lot stricter, and it's awesome to see that these regulations are really working and seeing the number of hogfish increase on these reefs that I've been diving since honestly I could swim. This spiny thing is a sea urchin, and it is one thing that you really want to be careful of when you're diving, not to bump into it. A lot of times they're under rocks and you can't see them, and when you're sticking your arm under to catch a lobster and you touch it, boy does that not feel good. Sea urchins are poisonous, but it's not enough to kill you. It'll just be an annoying pain for a few hours. These beautiful fish are gray angelfish. They're probably one of my most favorite fish on the reef and definitely the most photogenic. We ended up catching 5 keeper lobsters, and I think we caught 5 that were too small to keep that we let go. But it was a beautiful day out there. The visibility wasn't that great, but it was really calm, so that was great. And a lot of you guys have been asking me about the red tide and if the red tide's affecting us over here, which we are on the East Coast. And Vic, what do you have to say about the red tide?
Guys, there's no red tide on the East Coast. I know that there may have been for like a day or two, but we all know that the news and media can really drag things out. But I really want to stress, because it hurts our tourism, both on the West and East Coast. The beaches are not closed. The water was beautiful today. There's no dead fish anywhere.
I mean, we were just diving less than 100 feet off the beach, you know, no dead fish. The water's fine. We can breathe fine.
Yeah, no one's coughing.
And the last 2 weeks, Victor and I have been fishing on the beach, fishing the mullet run, not seeing any dead fish on the beach, nothing. And that's up and down the coast. Like today we were in Fort Lauderdale, and we've gone all the way up to Sebastian in the last couple of weeks. All right, so enough of that red tide stuff. Let me show you guys how to clean a lobster. Normally when we eat lobsters, we just eat the tail section. But a lot of you guys have been commenting, asking why I'm wasting the whole entire rest of the lobster. So tonight, I'm going to do something different, and I'm gonna cook up not only the tail, but also the legs and also the knuckles. And I'll show you how there's only a little tiny bit of meat in the legs and in the knuckles. And the times that I do only take the tail, I throw the head in the legs into the canal, and all the fish get to eat it. It's not like I throw it in the trash and it ends up in a landfill. I'm just gonna do it anyways and show you guys how you can eat the legs and the knuckles as well as the tail. You definitely need a good pair of gloves, because these things have spines everywhere and you'll rip up your hands if you don't wear gloves. You're just gonna twist them off. And these things are dead, they're not still alive. Gonna break off the knuckles, the antennas. This is probably the hardest part about doing this to the lobsters is getting these knuckles off, because if you can see all of those spines on there and thorns, horns, whatever you want to call it. So there's that. Oh, broke that one. All right, well I broke that one a little shy of where I should have. And now I'm going to take one hand on the tail, one hand on the head, the carapace, and I'm going to twist. The only cleaning portion that you have to do for this is to clean out the digestive tract, which is their poop. You're gonna take the end of your antenna that you just broke off, stick it in there, and it grabs that digestive tract with backwards facing spines, and you just pull it out, and you just get rid of that part. Look, a baby triple tail. You see it? So now all we have left is the head that I'm just gonna get rid of. See, perfect example how these things don't go to waste. This baby triple tail is literally eating this lobster head. Going in the head, getting the guts out. That's so cool. Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. So tonight I'm making some sauteed lobster, sauteed mushrooms and broccoli, and then I'm also going to do like a little appetizer with the legs and the knuckles. And Vic, what are you making?
And I'm making redfish on the half shell, which you guys have already seen Brook make, and I'm telling you guys what, it is one of the best ways to cook fish. Not just redfish, I'm telling you, so good.
So not only am I cooking tonight, but Victor's also doing a fish recipe, so we're gonna have a great dinner. So let's get to cooking. So the first thing I'm gonna do with this lobster is cut it down the front side with a nice sharp knife. Just crack the first part of the shell and then turn it over. And with my palm, I'm going to crack the back of the shell. And it should open right up. Now you should be able to grab the lobster meat and just pull it right out of the shell. Some come out super easy and some come out a little bit harder. It depends on what stage they are in molting, which is shedding their shell. And there we go. There's no meat left in that. And there is our nice lobster meat. So now I'm going to cut these in half. And then I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. Look how good that lobster meat looks. For my side dish, I'm going to saute some broccoli and some mushrooms. So here is a head of broccoli. So to cook the legs and knuckles, I have a pot of boiling water and I'm going to boil them in some Old Bay seasoning. My water and Old Bay is boiling. I'm going to add my legs and knuckles in. And these are not going to take a long time to cook through. They're bright red, orange, and the meat inside is a nice white, so they're definitely cooked all the way through. Take them out. Okay, so this is like the amount of meat you get out of the legs. It's a really small amount. It's good, it's just a lot of work.
Like a mini king crab leg. I think the meat in the legs is definitely better. It's sweeter than the tail. It's more tender, I think.
A lot of work, little tiny piece of meat. We melted some butter, but honestly, you don't need to dip. You don't need to dip it in there. Ow. They're all so sharp. They're nothing like trying to open a king crab leg though. Much smaller and harder.
See, look at that.
That's a nice chunk.
That's a good chunk.
Oh God. So we used to eat these when we were little all the time. My dad would just boil them and we would sit at the table for hours when we were little, just cracking open all these little legs and eating all of the meat out of them.
It really is a good amount of meat in these knuckles. It's just tedious and it's really sharp around here.
I'm already bleeding on 2 fingers.
It's funny to see the actual meat. You see the little points on it?
Oh wow, you got a good one.
Because it goes out with the spikes on its antennas and its knuckles, and it grows into the actual shell.
That's
it's funny
a
to
good
see
piece.
that. Want some?
No, I'll let you have it. Ow! Oh yeah. Winner, winner.
There.
Oh yeah, winner, winner.
Did you get one that good?
Yeah.
That's a lot of meat right there. It was good. It was a lot of work. I think you should eat the legs and the knuckles when you get real big ones, because then it's like the same amount of work for twice as much meat.
So I have a pan with some olive oil in it and some garlic, and I'm going to add some sliced mushrooms into here. Mushrooms release a lot of water when you cook, so we'll have some water in here once they start cooking. Okay, so my mushrooms have been in there for about 5 minutes, and now I'm going to add my broccoli in. Season them with some salt and some fresh ground pepper. And I'm gonna just put the lid on and let those saute. In this pan I have some olive oil, a little butter, and some garlic. And now I'm going to add my chopped up lobster into here. And lobster does not take a long time to cook. It'll be nice and white when it's done. I'm going to put some salt, fresh pepper, and last squeeze on some lemon. And last I'm going to add some fresh chopped parsley. Blackened redfish?
Blackened redfish.
Smells really good. Just breaking it off the shell and giving everyone a piece on their plate. And what kind of pasta did you make, Vic?
A creamy tomato sauce with zucchini.
Yummy. Okay. Come on, everyone. So tonight's dinner turned out really good. I think I liked all of Victor's stuff that he made better than what I made. Yeah, I think the redfish is honestly cooked on the grill on the half shell like that is
So
probably
good.
one of my favorite fish recipes that we've made. So that was really good, and that pasta with the cream sauce was really good. But maybe my mushrooms and broccoli might have been the best thing. I'm a sucker for mushrooms and broccoli, so that was probably the best thing. But the redfish was definitely better than lobster, but still a great way to make lobster that isn't in the shell, and it's really easy to peel out of the shell like that, and it was really good.
It was. And give it up to Brooke for showing you guys about the legs and knuckles. You guys gotta give her a break. A lot of people commenting that she's not eating the whole lobster.
Well, not even that, but you saw how tedious it was.
Yeah.
My grandma was here also, and my mom. They didn't want to be on camera eating them, but they were in the background, and my mom's fingers were bleeding too.
It's worth it if you get really big lobsters, but with the smaller lobsters, it's better to just feed the fish in the canal. It's not going to waste.
And then you can use them for like lobster bisque, but when you use them for lobster bisque, you're not getting the meat out of those legs anyways. You're using it for a stock, so like you're throwing the legs
Away
the meat
anyway.
and the legs away anyways. So whatever, it was fun, it was good. They weren't the biggest size lobsters. Yes, they were illegal, but they do get bigger than that, and the legs do get a little chunkier, so then you get a little bit more meat in them. So that probably would have been better if we had a little bit bigger size lobsters to eat the legs, but it was just like a little appetizer before dinner.
Yes.
/ a little workout for your fingers. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like the video. Victor's video will be linked down in the description so you can see how he made his recipe. And again, thanks for watching. Did I ever say don't forget to like the video?
That's fine. Yeah. You probably did.
Don't forget to like the video and also to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Peace.
It's a nice chunk.
This is a good chunk.
Oh, God.